When we're ingesting logs related to ad insertion, we often run into the SCTE metadata. We've already seen a video about how to parse this on ingestion, but what if we haven't? So I'll give you an example here. We can see that we have this add markers field, which is part of the add marker found event type. And it is essentially a stringified SCTE marker. We're going to be able to do something with it. I've already used DataPrime up here to filter event type add marker found. I'm going to use DataPrime to parse out these values and then just do some nominal computation so you can see what's happening there. So I've already written a query, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it out step by step so you can better understand what's going on. So the first thing I do is I want to isolate the field in which I'm interested. So I'll choose add markers. And by the way, these queries are constantly running against the S3 bucket that's held in your account, by the way. So there you go, run that. I just hadn't completed the autocomplete, the only thing. So now I've locked it down to just the add markers, which makes it easier for me to work with. Then I want to use a command called the extract command. So extract here, and I want to select add markers. So this gives me an idea of which field I want, and I'm using extract, which will take a value, parse it into several other fields, and you'll see that in action now. So I'll call that like the parsed add marker, let's say, make life easier. And I will use, so you can see here, parse into parse add marker using, then I have a number of strategies here that are available to me. For example, split on a given value. I can parse a JSON object. I can use regular expressions to extract certain values from the string. In this case, I'll use KV. KV is short for key value. And I can say here that pair delimiter should be a comma. So what is the pair delimiter? You see here in between all of the values, so for example, let's say start date here equals this, comma, and there's a comma before it. In other words, this is the separator for each pair of key values. And then we also want the key delimiter as well. So and the key delimiter is an equals. How do we know that? Because it equals this, then the value. Start date equals this start date. End date equals this end date, and so on. So we'll run that. Again, running unindexed against the S3 archive. So you can see that even running transformations against unindexed data is very, very fast. So a bunch of really interesting values there, and one of which is the SCTE-35 out. So what we've done now is we've actually identified the power of using DataPrime, but we can go further than this. So DataPrime isn't just about pulling out values, it's actually doing things with it. For example, I can say convert parsed add marker dot duration, almost set it to a number. And when I run that query again, you can see that now nothing really looks like it's changed, but we've actually set the value of duration to be numerical if it wasn't already. So this is like an explicit cast of the data type. And then finally, we can do something like aggregate. We'll take the average of parsed add marker dot duration. And if we run that, then what you can see is the average is loaded, so it's 6. So in other words, what we've done is we have extracted values out of the SCTE-35 marker, we have converted that value into a numerical value, and we've averaged the duration across all of our markers to understand the average length of our ads. This is extremely important for user experience, digital experience, as well as the revenue. Longer ads typically allow us to bill more, but they also have higher drop-off rates and so on. This is a basic analysis that you can do even when the data is unstructured after it's been parsed. You can use DataPrime to extract it further. You'll notice that during some of that parsing, some of the values were still stuck together because they had hashes and all sorts in them. You can get really specific by using different extracting strategies, like using regular expressions, to pull out each of those fields. So there's lots and lots of different options there, but this just shows that once your data is in Coralogix, it's very rarely static. You can constantly parse it and constantly change it.